All right, so Tulsi Gabbard continues to rebrand herself, and I'm wondering how progressives feel when they see support Tulsi's voice of truth, freedom, and common sense. Now, I had a couple of associates, really one, my buddy Pasta, who I haven't talked to since he came on the show here. But I'm wondering what he's thinking, because he's a dyed-in-the-wool progressive. And when progressives kind of get all like twitchy when you mention common sense and freedom in one sentence and the voice of truth and so forth. You had the TYT gang say, hey, why don't you just join the right wing? And I think she's trying to. I think she's going to be somebody who starts a populist political movement. It's going to be more on the right, or at least she's going to be part of amplifying that, but she's going to be doing it with a more tolerable presentation. The problem with Trump, if there is a problem with Trump, and we know there are, but I'm saying one of the problems always for me was style. Style. People look, I mean, most people grew up with a father who was kind of like Donald Trump, to be honest with you. I mean, at least in my generation, the people who grew up, they had fathers like Trump. Now, if you didn't like your dad and you thought your dad was too much of a tyrant and an authoritarian and so forth, and didn't like the way he couched language, I remember my dad saying, well, she's a real beauty. That would be something Donald Trump would say and has said. People, for whatever reason, they want their politicians to kind of have all this decorum, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But Tulsi Gabbard, she can be rough and tumble when she needs to be, and she can be the total aloha experience from the get-go. But I can't see how progressives are all happy now with the way Tulsi has been behaving since before she left Congress, and since getting out, and she's on like with Dave Rubin. I imagine that more people on the right are going to talk to Tulsi Gabbard, because this is a time where people want to unify behind something better. Okay? Despite what we heard yesterday about unity, the unity is based on, gee, if you think like us, then that's unity. And that isn't unity. That's like, you're a dictator, and you're telling us how to think and how to behave. I don't remember Trump telling us how to think and behave. Okay? He certainly had things that he believed in, and he put them out there. And I have more sympathy for that than somebody who says, hey, you people who disagree with me, please unify. And here's how you unify. You just agree with me. All right? That's not unity. That's just more of what we've had for the last, basically what we've had from Democrats for a very long time. And there's a hunger in the country, a thirst for something that it's more tolerant for sure, but it also recognizes that your opinion doesn't mean that I'm going to unify with you. I would like to express my opinion, and then maybe we can compromise. But we don't hear anything about compromise. We hear about collision, like destruction, and I don't want collision and destruction. Nobody does. And, well, there are actually, let me correct that. Those who want to carve up the country can't stand Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard wants to bring the country together for real. She wants to listen to the left and the right. Ooh, that's crazy. You can't listen to the right because they're a bunch of freaks. And again, a lot of people on the right suspect the people on the left are a bunch of freaks as well. And both of them may have a point, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not just centrism. It's like big ideas and kind of hashing them out in a way that benefits everybody. And that's the difference between a Tulsi Gabbard and 98% of politicians today, at the federal level. I'm sure there are a lot of great local politicians that you can find that will listen to you, hear you out, and try to make decisions based on what you say plus the rest of their constituents. It's like taking a book in context and then putting out the best narrative for whatever that book was talking about. And we're the book, and nobody's really listening to us right now. The narrative is all crazy and skewed. And just because, the cultural Marxists are kind of winning the battle and they're throwing all this cultural crap at people who don't, it's not that we don't care. Well, let me rephrase that. It is that we don't care. And I do believe in a form of individualism, not to the sense where you just neglect everybody around you, but I do believe that people have their own interests, self-preservation. They're concerned about their household, right? You're not concerned about your next door neighbor's household. You should kind of be, a good Samaritan and so forth, but you're not. You're not that. You want to make ends meet. And we have to get over this idea that I need to think like my neighbor across the street. And it's just getting tedious that it's this big mind control trap. And a lot of us are frustrated and we don't know what to do. So hence, channel is called Political Refugee. I don't know where to go. I interviewed somebody yesterday. We were talking about Libertarian Party. They need to get their act together. They're interesting. Third parties don't really work all that well. Let's just be honest. There's talk about a Patriot Party out there. Trump wants to do that. And again, you're going to have division. Maybe it would work. I know there are a lot of angry Republicans out there right now that believe in electric frog, like I usually say it here. If you see an electric frog jumping around outside, you can think of me in my cute phrase here. So what does this mean for Tulsi Gabbard? Does it mean anything? Yeah, it means she's positioning herself as a uniter. I think she's positioning herself to leave the Democrat Party. She did her duty. She served her term, and she did her duty during the corpse when he got nominated and so forth. She endorsed. She didn't have to endorse. She did. She did it cheerfully. We were angry at her for doing it cheerfully. I've repented of that anger. I've gone back and forth on her COVID stuff. If she's really all about freedom, she should be talking about opening up the economy. And if she wants to talk about doing it safely, you've even got Cuomo in New York now, who's interestingly recanting all of his lockdown garbage. And when did he recant? Well, like a day or two before the inauguration. Once he knew that the corpse would be sworn in, it's just, that's what happened. So I'm wondering if you're going to see more retreating from this position, which I think was designed to politically destroy Donald Trump. And most people with any modicum of common sense could see that and know and suspected that from the very beginning of the whole pandemic, virus, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not saying there's not people who are sick and dying. There are, but I'm wondering if we sacrificed people when we could have treated them differently. Again, I don't want to get into a COVID video here because that gets me in trouble when I talk about treatments, because there are treatments. And I mentioned one on this channel. You can go back and look at it. It hasn't been removed from the channel. If it gets to 1 million views or something, I'm sure it'll be removed, and it won't get to 1 million because the algorithm is trained not to go there. All right. In any event, I don't know. I just think that a lot of people who liked Tulsi Gabbard maybe in the past won't like her in the future, but a lot of people who weren't sure about her now know that she's kind of normal. And I like normal. Normal works for me. So, yeah, I'm still following Tulsi. And maybe you should sign up for this. Apparently she wants $7 a month. I know if that's a suggested donation. I don't know if you just get in, if you pay $1 a month. I think on my Patreon, you do $1 and you're in. So I'm thinking even if you do $1, you might be in with this. You'd have to do it and find out what happens. Okay, folks, thanks for watching the channel. Look, I am looking for subscribers. There's something weird and wacky going on here, and I don't care. I had somebody telling me, hey, we're just left because you don't talk about Tulsi, or, this is, the whole thing's over. No. Every time I talk about getting subscribers, I get a few. And then what happens is, over just days randomly, I lose them. And it's just bizarre. So I'm thinking, something, algorithm, whatever it is, might be working against me. It's fine. It's fine. Subscribe if you want to, please. And you can support me over on Patreon for just $1 a month if you like the content here. I know I'm not cranking out content like every hour like some people do, but I do have another channel, and you can visit that one as well. If you go over to Patreon, you can find out what that's all about as well. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.